Okay, y'all, I'm dying laughing. This is so funny. I started the wrong Why Not Today song. I'm singing right along with it, and then I forget to hit start the show. So come on in. I wondered why people weren't coming in. Tea. Tea.
Life of my dreams, I was hoping
it's hot too.
Some magical moment would come rescue me. But it hit me today. There's no better time to begin. This day I've been given is my day to start living. So I'm jumping in. Why not today? Discovered the power lies inside of me. I could spend my life waiting for something to show me the way, but I would be missing the wonderful blessing of embracing today. Why not today while the sun is shining? Today behind me, tomorrow can't find me till I live today. Why not today while my heart is ready? Today while it's in my grasp. If I start out slowly, I'm confident knowing I'm still on my way. Why not today?
Just hear it all. Just let it fade. Oh, that was Eric Dodge singing Why Not Today. I played the other version we have of this song, and I forgot to hit start on the video. I was just singing along and wondering why nobody's coming in the show. So I can be silly sometimes. I get to be silly. My last name is Silly. Anyway, I gotta wipe my eyeball. It's watering. Well, y'all, it's been a good day in the neighborhood. What do y'all think? I just heard that the police officer who killed that man, it doesn't matter what he was doing, he didn't deserve a death sentence. That's all I got to say about it. He has been arrested. Yep. he was fired, and then he got arrested. Don't know about the other 3 officers that didn't stop him from killing that man. But that man's name was George Floyd. And I think it's George Floyd. Somebody check me on that. And then when they announced it to the rioting people in Milwaukee, a cheer rose up. So maybe they'll all just turn around and go home. Go home, you know? Just go home. And then the president just spoke. And we're going to be protecting our companies in this country from Chinese spies. Yep. Because China passed a law in 2017 that said anybody that is a Chinese citizen can be tapped on to spy for the company they're working for. Imagine that. Imagine that. You have somebody work, you're trying to be all inclusive and hire all kinds of people, and you've hired somebody who is from China. Yep. They went to school with your kids in college, and they can be tapped on to become a spy. So they're putting in place reciprocal matters. We can't go over there and study. So as as the goose and the gander, yep, we're gonna take care of things. So I'm happy. And the market went crazy, y'all. The stock market went crazy up. It was down 300, and by the time I came here, it was already up 40 or 50. And I don't even know what it's doing. It just got 45 more minutes to go. Yep, so let's just make sure. This police officer had lots of bad marks on his record. Yep, from the past. From the past. And there was a DA in place that they didn't deal with it. We'll find out who that was. So I couldn't watch the video. I can't watch it. I can't watch it. We have to pray for those people. We have to pray for all of them. We have to pray for our enemies because, you know, you don't believe me, but praying for your enemy is, we have to pray for those people in China to come to their senses and to stop trying to take over the world. Just live in a world where we all get along. Where we all get along and not try to steal each other's secrets. So many companies in this country have had their business secrets stolen. If KFC wants to go to China, which KFC has gone to China, they had to share the secret recipe with Chinese. Yeah, I was inconsolable too. It was awful. It was awful. Yep, we are commanded to pray for our enemies. And the people in Hong Kong, I think they need to move. Yep, they need to get out of Hong Kong because it's going to become locked down just like the rest of China. But guess what? When the virus got out in Wuhan, they didn't lock down Wuhan. They locked it down from going to the rest of China, but they let them fly around the world. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. There's a spider. Please go away. Don't. Ugh. It dropped down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Well, I ain't scared of no spider. Nope. I don't know where it went. Anyway, here's to taking care of the world by limiting what China can do. And, you know, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of buying things from China because there's nobody else to make them. Maybe this will bring manufacturers back to the United States. Sewing manufacturers. I need a sewing manufacturer right now to make purple rags. I need a company to make this fabric. I can't find anybody. I've tried. I have tried like crazy. I've got people trying like crazy to find somebody. But maybe this will start it. This will start it out where we can have our manufacturing back in this country. Patty and I watched manufacturing go from making lots of things in this country. Alexander's dad and his granddad had a sewing factory. They made sweatshirts for Champion. Sweatshirts. Yeah. And in 95 and 96, I got a bunch of the seconds, and God really blessed me. He blessed me. My brother-in-law, not Patty's husband now, but Alexander's dad, filled the trunk of my car up with sweatshirts that had just little flaws in it that didn't pass inspection. And he said, maybe you can just have a yard sale and sell them. You know, I didn't have a whole lot. And he filled the trunk of my Mercury Marquis, and it was a big trunk because I bought the car because it had a big trunk. He filled the trunk up with sweatshirts. Lots of them. And I remember I was taking a kid home from school, not my kid, but a kid that had been helping me with a skit we were doing. Do you remember me telling you about the 8-foot trout that I made for Trout Unlimited? And I would go to schools with this trout costume. You wore this trout costume, and you put your arms in it, and you can make the trout swim upstream. And I painted this trout. And you had to. It had a place for your head at the dorsal fin, right at the dorsal fin of this trout. And I took this kid home, and he lived way out from Rosman, up a mountain, practically to South Carolina. I took this kid home, and as I was driving down this mountain, I had both hands on the wheel. No, I don't think I had both hands on the wheel. But I had my very first premonition. Now, if any of you have ever had a premonition with your eyes wide open, you know how powerful it is. And what I saw was me having a blowout on a tire. Well, immediately I put both hands on the wheel and I said, God, these are brand new tires. I'm not going to have a blowout. And just like that, I had a blowout. And when you have a blowout, you have to control the car. And it was a big car. And so I drove it off the side of the road till I got control of it, and then eased it back off the shoulder because it flipped me off the shoulder. And so it was getting dark. It was almost dusk. I mean, it was getting dark. Now, I knew how to change a tire. But when you're on a road where there's a river on one side of the road, the French Broad River was on one side of the road, the East Fork of the French Broad. Might have been the West Fork. It was the West Fork. And there's a ditch on the other. You have to leave the car on the road to change the tire. You have to get down in the ditch to take the tire off. Now, remember, the back of my car is full of a trout costume. The trunk is full of sweatshirts. And I got to get to my donut. This car had one of those little donuts that you put on. Well, I got it on, but this truck kept walking past. Now, you know I'm a pistol packing mama. Well, I put my little 25 in my pocket. I put on my fishing hat so that it's dark out. I put on my fishing hat. And so I had my tools, everything out of the car, and this truck kept driving back and forth and back and forth. And finally, God sent me an angel in a car with a little boy in it. And this lady drove up and said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "If you would just stay right here with me while I finish putting this tire on, I know somebody right up here up the road that can help me tighten the tire lugs. And I just appreciate there's been a truck with some men coming past, and I just would feel safer. And she said, I'll do that. So I got the tire on. I went up to this man's house that I knew, and he tightened the lugs for me because I didn't have a torque wrench to put on my lug wrench to give it just that little extra little tighten. And I got home, and I lived 78 curves up a mountain. 78 curves up a mountain. And I got home and had to go back down the mountain, and I had 13 cents in my bank account. 13 cents. That's all I had. I wasn't overdrawn, but I had 13 cents. And I was going to college at the time, and it was like February of 1996. It was before I met Robert. Well, I don't have a lug gun tool, but I have a tool now that will fix that in my car. I keep it in the door of my car. It has two purposes. It will fix a tire, and it will knock somebody in the head if they try to break into my car while I'm in it. Yeah. And anyway, I got to school. I didn't have any money. I was waiting on a stipend check because I hadn't had to use all my money for classes. And I was going to be getting a rebate on to live on. And I went to the finance office, and they couldn't give me the money yet. It wasn't in, because I had gotten a student loan of it was a grant to go to school. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was crying my eyes out. I was almost hysterically crying because I couldn't make it back up the mountain on that tire. I couldn't do it. And I was used to being in control. You know, when you're a control freak, you don't think about. You need help and you don't know where to get it. Well, I just finally said, okay, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I went to this tire place here in town called Charlie's Tire. And if you ever come to Brevard and you need a tire, you go to Charlie's Tire. Mr. Charlie's gone now, but his son is still running the place, and he is a good man. But I went in and I said, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. But I had this blowout on this tire, and it was cold out. Oh boy, was it cold out. And he said, Miss Marlowe, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you. We'll put you on a new tire, and you can pay me when you can. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? So I'm sitting there waiting for the tire to get put on, thanking God, thanking the people at Charlie's Tire. And Charlie's son comes into the lobby and says, you got all these sweatshirts in the car. What are you doing with those? He said, my guys want to buy them. And I said, what do you mean they want to buy them? He said, it's cold. They're freezing to death. And one guy likes to paint on shirts, and they're blank. And he would love to use them to paint on. And you know, I sold $250 worth of sweatshirts out of the trunk of my car. Because God prepared me. I had sweatshirts in my trunk from a little old sewing factory in Spring City, Tennessee. And he knew I was going to need them. Terry might not have known, but Terry knew he had to help somebody. And he was wanting to help me. So he gave me these sweatshirts. And I didn't owe them anything. I didn't owe them anything. Those sweatshirts paid for the tire and gave me money to eat on for a week. And I still had more sweatshirts to sell. It's kind of like the loaves and the fishes. They just kept on giving. just kept on. I gave sweatshirts away to so many people to finally get rid of them. So when you're at your darkest moment, you gotta look up. You gotta look up and you gotta say, God, I know you're out there and you got a plan for me. I don't know what that plan is, but I'm gonna stick around. I hadn't even met Robert yet, but I'm gonna stick around and see, what's going on. I don't know, but I had my first premonition and I was prepared. I didn't prepare myself. God prepared the way. He prepared the way for me to be safe on that mountain, to be safe changing that tire, all the processes. So, folks, I'm not even going to fuss at myself about saying so. God is good. All the time, Carolyn, all the time. And He protects us. Sometimes He even protects us from ourselves. So, slow down. That's what tea time is all about, is learning how to slow down and listen to the messages that the good Lord is sending you. I will one day. I got lots to do right now. I will one day. But we just have to let go and let God. Because when we do that, great blessings happen. Great blessings. Stop worrying. Stop trying to control everything yourself. And just step out in faith. And know that God has this. It's faith over fear. We can't be afraid. We cannot be afraid. There's Dr. Kim. So drink up. I love you all. And I'm going to play one more song. This is a song I'm going to play this in honor of Eric's grandfather, the last real cowboy. Eric's been working hard on the ranch. He bought a few acres that had been in his family for a long time, and he's been working on getting a spring uncovered. And this is just so much fun. I wish I was there to help him. But I'm going to play The Last Real Cowboy in honor of Eric's grandfather and that ranch that he established. Well, it was several generations. I think they go back like 10 generations on this ranch. Oh, this is a good one. God is good. Happy Sabbath to you too, Dr. Kim.
I was only 3, sitting on his knee, hearing all those tales he'd tell about the good old days when he'd ride the range and blaze those rugged trails. He let me steer the tractor when he'd plow, raising cattle, and his family made him proud. He was the last real cowboy. He tamed the land with his own 2 hands, like his granddaddy had done. He loved his wife and the simple life of working with his sons. He was up at dawn with his Stetson on. He didn't stop to rest till the sun went down. He built a legacy, the last of the dying breed. He was the last real cowboy. He was strong and brave, and he showed real faith and earned respect from all. He would plant his seeds, drop to his knees, and pray for rain to fall. When the cause was just, he always took a stand.
Take a stand.
He taught me work and how to be a man. He was the last real cowboy. real cowboy. I remember it well when I got the call that the cowboy's work was done. It was nearly night when I reached his side. We watched that setting sun. He said his trail was waiting in the sky. So I tipped my hat and said my last goodbye to the last real cowboy. He tamed the land with his own two hands, like his granddaddy had done. He loved his wife and the simple life of working with his sons. He was up at dawn with his Stetson on. He didn't stop to rest till the sun went down. He built a legacy, the best of a dying breed. He was the last real cowboy.
That was Eric singing a song he wrote for his grandfather. Y'all have a great rest of the evening. It's Friday night. Do what you're supposed to do. Love everybody around you. Do a good deed. Help others. And be kind to one another. And pray for the people in Minneapolis. And pray that the riots don't spread. Please pray that they don't spread and people's mamas get a hold of their ears and take them back to the house. Straighten up. I'm remembering an Antifa video where the mama recognized her kid and she went and got him by his ear and took him home. You're going home. You're going to quit doing this stuff. It's going to take a mama to straighten up Minneapolis. Yep. It's gonna take a mama. I love you all. See you later.